Today, June 13th, Monday, I'm in Valdosta, Georgia, in the city where Wal-Mart store number 2615 is in business. My name is George Boston Rhines. This is tape or track 5 concerning my wrongful termination on March the 20th, 2008. After 29 rebuttal letters to several Wal-Mart presidents and CEOs, along with the board of directors, refuting my termination, and every rebuttal to disciplinaries that I have received, of which I responded to at the time they were received. After 30 letters to Wal-Mart, last to Mr. Mike Duke. In fact, tape 5 is directly to Mr. Mike Duke, Wal-Mart President and CEO, currently. Why have you failed, Mr. President Duke, to answer any of my 29 letters sent to you, asking you why did you not enter me into Wal-Mart 4-week training program designed for all department managers? Mr. Duke and President and Board of Directors, this should be a very easy question for you all to answer. Number one, who was assigned my trainer? What date was I entered into training? What date did I fail or flunk out of such training? Why did you discriminate against me? If any Wal-Mart department manager is trained, why was I not entered into the same training? Mr. President Duke, you know these are valid questions. If your mother, father, sister, brother, or child was terminated from a company as a sporting goods department manager, you would want answers to your questions. Am I not an American? Why do you treat your workers this way, Mr. President and Wal-Mart Board of Directors? I was a manager in the military. I served 20 years in the United States Air Force. I was trained, and when I failed, or if I failed in any aspect of my job, I was counseled and reminded of the training that I had received. In many cases, they would have the training, my 623, Air Force Form 623, available during the coaching. And they would explain in black and white, you was trained in this, 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 this. And you have failed to follow guidelines. Any worker could understand that. Anyone with average intelligence, Mr. President Duke and Wal-Mart Board of Directors. But in your situation, you are America's largest retail giant, and you failed to enter me into a 34-page Wal-Mart Sporting Goods training plan. Then store manager Hal at store number 2615 terminated me. And I served in this position for 8 months, so I must have been doing a pretty good darn job without training. So the question maybe should be, why didn't Hal reward me for maintaining a department for 8 months without receiving training as all other sporting goods department managers in America and perhaps around the world? I ask you these questions, Mr. President, along with why was I even coached for offenses that assistant managers, co-managers, and store manager have permitted others to get away with? I ask you, Mr. President, why was I singled out for reporting that managers failed to follow procedures for the for the ATF Form 4473s and failed to do their daily audits? Some was 3 weeks had not been done. The monthly audits and the quarterly audits was not being done. This is a federal requirement. Yes, I notified the managers of that. I was the one that showed any professionalism. Ask the co-workers. Ask the people that worked at store number 2615. Why was I given a written coaching for leaving keys in the door? And I was guilty, I admit. I left them in the door. But, Mr. Duke, Board of Directors, have you investigated my workers? How many times store manager, including Frank Summerlin and others, had left keys in the security room and out on the dock during Christmas, and we had to help him look for their keys? Co-managers, when after gun sales, they left keys up in the cash register. We had to find them and take their, and nothing happened to them, Mr. President. So is there a double standard? I've asked you all these questions many times before. So this is nothing new. But I'm doing it here because I want the American people to know that when they shop at Walmart, there are people behind the scene that are being treated as if they were citizens or workers in China or in some other third world nation. Too many people, Mr. President, have been wronged, and they fail to address the issues like I'm doing. I do it because I'm tired of seeing Walmart mistreat workers. It is a disgrace to the human race. And I want the people in China and everywhere on this planet where a Walmart store is located to understand how workers are treated. I asked store manager, assistant store manager, Frank Summerlin, even when I was being terminated. Assistant manager Shannon was sitting there. She did the paperwork. And while she was doing the paperwork, I turned to Frank Summerlin and asked him this question. Didn't I tell you 6 months ago that I couldn't win? I said, didn't I tell you? And he said to me, yeah, you did. I say, this is what I meant. There was nothing I could have done. You all had it planned to terminate me. Now, I might add that Shannon, the one that did my paperwork and really terminated me, was the same assistant manager. I commend her because when she took over as my supervisor, she came over and she said, George, have you been trained? I said, no, I have not. She said, I'm going to check your record. She went in the personnel record and she came back, and this was in March of 2008. And I said, I've been asking for training. I said, it seemed like I was set up as a peon, pawn, puppet, and eventually will be used as a scapegoat. I told Assistant Manager Shannon this standing right in front of the first gun rack. I told her that. So she came back and she said, George, we got to get you trained. And that made me feel good because at least she acknowledged that I had never been trained. But the strange thing about it is that I still never got that training. Yet she was the one, Assistant Manager Shannon was the one that did the paperwork. And she knew at the time that I had never been trained. Frank knew I had never been trained. And Frank, in my humble opinion, was not able to train me because he didn't know many things in the job. Gun audits was not being done. People knew that. I knew it. Those 4473s, when Jody was department manager, she didn't review them. When I came in, my workers, just investigate the workers. I would go through, thoroughly check them, put stickers on them, call the customers, have them to come back and correct the forms. Had my workers, I found their errors, had them to come back and correct those forms. I called in assistant managers and co-managers to have them make corrections. This is a fact that anybody that worked in Wal-Mart, if they acknowledge the truth, will know that I did. I have memo for records. I could call their names out on this video because I kept memo for records. After I found out that Wal-Mart did not operate in a professional manner, I have written 30 letters to you, Mr. Duke, and still you have not, nor the company, sent me one letter, not even one, with a valid date and signature of a title of anybody that works in Wal-Mart. Yet my professionalism is shown by every letter that I sent you. It has a date on it, and it has my signature block, and the reason for my request that you investigate fully my termination and provide an answer to my questions, which I know you cannot do. I know you cannot refute, Mr. President and Board of Directors, and to all store managers around this nation, in Canada, in China, and around this universal plane. Not a single person at Wal-Mart Stores Incorporated, listen and listen well, not even God himself, not even Jesus, nor Mohammed, nor Buddha, nor Astaroth, nobody, even in the spirit world, can show where Wal-Mart entered me into training as Sporting Goods Department Manager at store number 2615. And so, the questions remain. Was it not, Mr. President, in your own policies and directives that I be trained before you give me a position? Doing SWAS reports, which I never was entered into training, price changes, operating the tail zone, which I was never trained on, you cannot show a single piece of evidence. Yet I did the job. But the question is, when did you train me? And how many other people who does not get a retirement check like me, family's been destroyed. I feel the pain of the mothers and fathers who are already on extremely low income, no health care, and to be terminated after they have given their best to Wal-Mart. Mr. President, Board of Directors, and to the American people, would you not want your answers or your questions answered? You know, store manager or assistant manager Lynn, Tamika, They gave me my first written coaching. And neither one of them knew what was going on. And Miss Tamika has terminated so many people. Lord help her. Lord help her when she stand before God. Since I started this undertaking, I really got to see just how many people have been hurt and mistreated by Miss Tamika. I'm calling her name out because of people that has been touched negatively by her. I'm not going to drive anybody, name nor reputation, in the ground. I'm not going to lie on anyone like I have been lied on. I had people come tell me, George, you stole some long guns, or I lost some long guns while I was department manager. My question, Mr. President, to you and to Hal Harwell, if he was the one that's spreading these lies, or Assistant Manager Frank, or anyone else, if I in fact, Mr. President, misplaced guns, lost guns, etc., 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 why didn't you call me in it to the room someplace and discuss it with me? But you know you never said nothing to me about it. So why spread rumors that I didn't do my job in that department? And one other thing, Mr. President, and Board of Directors and the American people, and foreigners in China and Canada and around the nation, one other valid question. If I lost long guns, or misplaced long guns, or whatever, why didn't you call law enforcement? Why didn't you call the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department and investigate? After all, this is a federal requirement dealing with the long guns. So, Mr. Duke, did you call the FBI in? Did you call the G.B.R. in to investigate? Is you that incompetent, Mr. President? Yeah. I was out to Moody Air Force Base. It's all in my letters. You got it in your files. I can't tell you nothing I haven't already told you. Workers told me the rumor going that I lost long guns. Trying to justify my termination. I was good in my job. I was real good, just like I was in the military. Received many commendation medals. And so, as I close this out, not for myself, but for the American people and people around the world, I say to you again, Mr. Duke, why cannot Wal-Mart complete a thorough investigation concerning my termination based on facts alone? Why can't you perform a valid investigation based upon the statements from associates from the departments without placing associates' jobs in jeopardy, as brought to my attention by two managers who gave me some inside information, as well as CSMs now, still working at the store, who side with me in my wrongful termination. To the American people, this is not a game. I intend to do about 20 more of these videos because I want the American people to know where they spend their dollars. I want them to know how the largest American retail giant have treated me. And I get a retirement check. But what about those people that walk out those doors crying, as I've seen them when I was there and didn't understand? And I want to add that the state of Georgia is an at-will-to-work state. That means they can terminate you for good cause, bad cause, or for no cause at all. And they're not even required to give you a response, thanks to our politicians in the state of Georgia. This is tape 5. I'm George Boston Rhines. I'm asking you to Google Wal-Mart Store 2615 for more information. And practically every one of my rebuttal letters is on the internet, and it's gonna get deeper. The half have not been told. I intend to tell everything until Wal-Mart come to me, write me, and respect me, and treat me as a citizen of these United States of America. And I have information that I'm passing on to my children, so they will carry on the fight They will carry on the fight until justice is rendered, so the people in America will know and understand where they spend their dollars, and that they just may need to redirect their footsteps. This is George Boston Rhines. Boston G.B.R. on YouTube. YouTube, Boston G.B.R. My email address, bostongbr@gmail.com. I'm not ashamed. I don't live in fear. I went across the world to fight for foreign countries for their freedoms, and I sure as hell intend to fight like hell here in the homeland until Wal-Mart began to treat us as we should be treated. In 2011 or 2015, it makes no difference. I will not be ignored. For 3 years and 3 months, Wal-Mart has ignored me. But in the end, the American people will know what's going on, because I got a watch, and I know, and before it's over, you gonna know what time it is when it comes to Wal-Mart workers, employees who don't have an open door policy nor unions, and they sure as hell need one. Peace. Well, no, I can't go yet. Look, these are the papers that Wal-Mart refused to enter me into training. These are Wal-Mart own papers that they refused to give me training. 34 pages. These are the pages that Wal-Mart's presidents and CEO refused to enter me into as Sporting Goods Department manager, and it seemed like there's nothing an American worker can do because we don't have any workers' rights. It's a damn shame. Peace be unto you.